Hey guys, it's Kevin here again, and today we'll be talking about the chat console. So, a lot of you guys probably noticed that in some games it'll have, like, for example, let's click play right here. You can see a console, giving tips and stuff like that randomly. And you're probably wondering how the heck do you do that. And so today we'll be going over, the basics of the chat scripts and things like that. So, and also keep in mind, guys, that all of the free models and stuff like that, all the scripts will be in the description linked. So you guys can literally skip this tutorial and just copy and paste if you want to. But if you guys want to learn how it works, then stay tuned. So, alright. Okay. So before we begin, you guys have to get the chat scripts. If you notice, if you go into the Explorer, your chat will have nothing in there, and that's because Roblox just naturally hides your scripts. So what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to click play and just run it, and then the chat scripts will show up right here. So you're gonna select all, okay, and then copy it, and then you're gonna stop. And the chat scripts will disappear, but you will paste it back in. So this allows us to actually edit the all the good stuff within these, chat modules, etc. And you can do a lot of powerful things with it. We'll be talking about things like, having admin functions, admin commands. But for now, we're just going to talk about how to add in a basic console. So we're going to go into your chat script, chat main, and hold on one second. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna go into chat constants. Now this is important because this holds all of the basically types of messages you can have. So right here on beneath Whisper, we're going to add in a new module, message type, and then we'll call this tips, because for our game we want to tell players random tips and stuff so that they're reminded of like how to play it. I know a lot of big games use this, like Phantom Forces, etc., etc. So after we do that, then we're going to go back into our handy dandy okay, so we're going to go into chat. We're going to go into chat modules, and inside here you're going to insert a module script. Okay, so this module script is where we're going to hold a basically just describe how we want to print our messages. So we'll start off by defining a bunch of variables. So we'll do local chat is equal to game get service, and then chat. Ooh, whoops. Okay. And then okay, so what this is getting is it's just getting your basic service of chat. This is going to be important in terms of adding speakers or doing anything with the service. So then we're going to do local replicated modules is equal to chat wait for child, and then client chat modules. And this is important because what you're doing is you're just waiting for all the client chat modules, and this is where you'll get basically just more description on how to run your run your bot. So now we're going to do local chat constants equal require replicated modules wait for child, and then chat constants. Okay, so this is also important because, like I said before, we defined our chat constants. We defined tips as a chat constant, and this is really important because you basically the whole entire group of scripts will be referencing chat constants, and So we're just trying to define this. So now we are going to actually define basic variables that will control what we say. So we're going to go local tip equal to, and then equal to this. And basically what we're doing here is we're creating an array. Okay, so that's what the curly brackets mean. So let's just add in our tips as like, Kevolution is awesome, just for some positive feedback. And then we're gonna add to, subscribe to me, please. Okay, so yes, so those are gonna be our two tips. We'll maybe add in a third one. I don't know, just my subscribers are awesome too. Awesome too, can't spell. Okay, so these are the various tips that our chat console will basically show inside the chat. And then we're going to do local message time is equal to 1. Now what this does is this variable is going to say, how long between each tip. So usually you're going to have like 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes. And the reason why is because you don't want your console to be just spamming out tips over and over again. It'll just flood the chat. So we'll just keep it at 1 second for testing purposes. And then we'll do local function run chat service, and then return run. And now remember guys, this is a module script, so you will have to return something. So that's important to keep in mind. Because whenever you call a module script, you'll always use the require thing. And so after we add in our basic function, so what this is going to do is it's going to take in a chat service. So whenever your whole entire script runs, it will call the function run, and it will put in chat service or something in the variable over here. Okay, so we'll do local time bot. So right now we are going to create our bot. Okay, and we're going to equal that to chat service add speaker, and then we're going to call our speaker the time bot. Okay, and so this is important because this right here is we're creating a bot, and it's going to add the speaker into the chat service. So that's our way of talking to everyone. Now we have to join a channel, and so when you're giving out tips, you want to join a channel of everyone. So we're going to do timebot join channel, and then do all. Now keep in mind that a lot of this stuff will seem like super random and confusing, but I recommend playing around with it and going into all of these different folders, stuff like that, all these scripts, and just learning the kinds of functions that they're using and stuff like that. You'll learn a lot, and it can be very helpful for your own games. So now we're going to create a new function, okay, and we'll call that add message type. Okay, so this right here, we're going to basically define what the message type is that the timebot is going to say. So we need a speaker, okay, we need a message object, and then we need a channel name. Okay, now we're going to say if the speaker is timebot. So if the speaker is called timebot, then we do message object dot message type, and then we're going to call the message type of chat constants dot message type tips. Okay, now like I said, these chat constants, we define the message type tips right over here. Okay, and we're gonna go into more detail in defining what to display whenever a message type tips is called. Okay, so like for example, the me command, as most of you guys know, if you type in /me in the chat, it will make your text, italicized, small, and then it also put your name in front of it. And the reason why is that because they define this module in a separate script, and we're gonna do that later. So over here, we're going to finish this off with chat service register filter message function, and then time bot filter. Okay, and then add message type. So what we're doing here is we're adding a new filter. This is important because if you understand the structure of how this chat works, we'll go back to the wikis, which is super helpful. So if you look at the chat, you can see that through the client, it runs through the player enters a character, goes through all this stuff, checks the character and stuff like that. So what we're doing is on the server side, we're adding a filter, okay, in this part of the hierarchy. This is important because if you want any kind of chat system, like custom chat system, you have to have a filter process. Otherwise, you can be reported and your game taken down, which is not good. All right, so back to our scripting. Now what we're going to do is we actually have to say the tips. So we're going to spawn a function. Now, if you guys remember from my previous tutorial on how to prevent fly hacking, we did a spawn function. What this does is it just adds a new thread that your Roblox game will run in the background. So in this new thread, we'll do while wait, and then while wait message time do. Okay, so what this is doing is it's waiting for a certain period of time and doing like print Bob, okay, over and over again. That's not a variable, but it's printing this every couple seconds that message time holds. Now, if you remember, we defined message time up here to be 1 second, so you can define it as 5 minutes again, and so on and so forth. It'll print every 5 minutes. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do time bot say message, and then console tip. Okay, so I'm gonna explain this in just a second. So what we're doing here is we are adding a randomizer just so that it displays tips randomly, and we won't have to worry about certain specifics and whatnot. Okay, so alright, so this may seem a bit confusing. So what we're saying is we're saying display console. Okay, so our time bot will say the message console space, and then we are adding or concatenating a tip. Okay, so the tip will be, as I said, an array. So when we call tip, for example, we call tip 1, that's going to return us Kevin is awesome. Okay, but if we do 2, it's going to say subscribe to me please, or my subscribers are awesome too, for 3. Alright, now but we want to make it randomized, so instead we do tip, and then inside the index we're going to have math.random. Now you're probably wondering how the heck what should our maximum value be? Well, our maximum value for the random will just be the size of the array. So if you guys didn't know this already, hashtag tip will return us. So if I were to do print hashtag tip, that's going to return 3 because that's the size of this array. There's only three basic pieces of information within this array. So that's the basis. Now what we're going to have to do is we're going to actually have to define what the heck the time bot message type will look like. So is it going to be italicized? What fonts is it going to be? How big? Etc. etc. So to do this, you're going to have to go into let's see here. You're going to have to go into your message creator modules and insert a new module script. So we're going to insert a module script. Let's rename this. We'll rename this tips. Okay, so pretty straightforward. And then in here, this is going to be pretty confusing, but I'll try and explain it as best as I can. So what this whole entire thing is, it's going to explain what the tip will look like. So if you remembered back when I showed you that demonstration, the console was in italicized and the color, the font, etc. was all defined in here. So we're going to start off by doing local message creator. So we're basically, adding in things that are necessary, variables that are necessary. So parent. So we're defining the message creator modules as script.parent. So right here, that's the folder of message creator modules. Okay, so then we do local util. This is important because it holds all of our utilities that we can use to define our message. So alright, so we will do wait for child util, and this is all pretty basic stuff. You're just waiting for the child of utility of message creator modules. Then we do local client chat modules is equal to message creator modules dot parent. Now this is important because we are getting the client chat modules in this folder from the parent of message creator modules. Okay, so we're just defining variables. Then we do chat settings is equal to require client chat modules wait for child, and then chat settings. So let's see, chat settings. Okay, sweet. So this is just getting, basic chat settings of the client chat modules. We'll talk about that more later. Then we do chat constants is equal to require, and then client chat modules wait for child, and then we'll have our chat constants. Okay, so again, this is chat constants back to this script, which holds our module that we need. Okay, so again, this is all important. It all connects, object-oriented programming. So we're going to create a function now, and it's going to be called create message label. So this is going to define how we actually even create our message label for the console. So now what we're going to do is we're going to first of all define what variables this function will take. It'll obviously take message data, so like what the message is. So for example, like message data could equal console, subscribe to Kevin. Alright, so and that actually shows up right here. We have our message object, message type, and then right here we say message console, and then the tip. That basically goes into message data as a create message label. So we're going to go back here, okay, and then we're going to define the second variable, and this is going to be the channel name. So basically, remember how we wanted it to say this console message to all, so your channel name is going to be everyone. Then we do local base frame, and then base message is equal to util and then chat settings dot default font, and then we are going to do chat settings dot chat window text size comma chat settings dot default message color. Okay, so what this is doing is it's basically defining what your base frame is and your base message. And the reason why we use util is because they've already created, Roblox has already made all this good stuff, so you don't actually have to define it for yourself. You can just use their utilities. So for this first part, we're using the base message of, we're gonna have, empty this for the first argument, then chat settings, default font, chat settings, chat window text size, etc., and then the default message color. All of this can be changed, and I will show you guys how to do that. So over here, we're going to do base frame. So now we're adding our base frame variable, and we're going to change the background color to, let's just say, white. Okay, so we're going to do color 3, dot new, and then as you know, white is 111. Now yeah, so this is important because this is basically just the background color of your message. It's super basic, so base frame dot background transparency. Though what we're going to make our background is we're going to make it transparent, okay, because we don't want a huge ugly background or ugly white background. You guys can change all these variables. All this stuff is, you know, for you guys to edit. And then we'll have over here, we'll have local function, update text function, and then message object. Okay, so I'll explain what this does in just a second. So no, whoops. Alright, so what this is doing, okay, is it's going to say if the message object is filtered, then, okay, then you can do all this good stuff. So we're going to do base message dot text is equal to message object dot message, okay, and then we're going to also say that the base message dot text color 3 is going to equal to color 3 dot new, and then we're just gonna make, you know, we'll just make the font white again. Again, you guys can change it to whatever you want. You can make it, you know, blue, green, whatever color. It doesn't matter. And then we're gonna also describe the font of this base message. Okay, so we're going to define it as source sans italic. You can do Arial or whatever you want. There's a list of fonts that you can use online on the Roblox wiki. So I recommend looking at that for options. And then right here, we will run this function, update text function, and then do message data. So there we go. And then what this does is it'll just run this text function that we just created. So right here, we'll define a new function, get height function, and then x size. Okay, so this might seem confusing, but it basically just returns your message height that you want it to be. You can obviously edit this and make it whatever you want, but for now, we'll just use the built-in utility. So, and then x size. All right, so after we created that, now we got to go down here, and then we're going to do, let's see here, local fade parameters. All right, so, okay, so local fade parameters. This is just controlling, you know, your basic animation of what you want the text to do. So we're just gonna go through this really quickly. It's basic stuff. You don't really need to know this. You can learn it if you want to, but I don't really see I guess much use. It's not really that important. So text transparency is equal to, and then we'll do fade in. Oh, faded in. Whoops, my bad. Faded in equal to 0, and then faded out equal to 1. Okay, so after we do that, then we also have to define another thing, text stroke transparency. Okay, and then we'll set that equal to faded in is equal to 0.75, and then faded out is equal to 1. Okay, so let's see here. So yeah, so basically what this does is it's just talking about the text stroke transparency when it's faded in and when it's faded out. Pretty basic stuff. So you can obviously edit that if you want to make your text more transparent, etc. Over here, now we're going to do the important stuff. So this is extremely important in that you have to return a bunch of variables. Okay, so they're all going to be utilities. You're defining basically the utility for your message. So whenever say message calls this or something like that, they will get all of this information, which is the most important. So we'll do key base frame, and then is equal to base frame. Okay, so basically the variable that we just defined up here, and then we'll do another one, comma, and then let's just copy and paste this because alright, so you're gonna copy and paste it 6 times, and actually 7 times, and then you're going to change the second one and say key base message. Okay, so, and then we're gonna do base message. Alright, and then the third one, you're going to say util update text function. So alright, so after we do that, then we do update text function. We'll set that equal to the update text function that we defined earlier, and then again we will do more stuff. So we have to do get height, whoops, they have to be in all caps, kind of like enumerations. So get height will be the get height function that we defined. So pretty basic stuff. Yeah, alright, so this fifth one, we are going to do the fade in and fade out information. So we'll do fade in, and then we'll actually change this next one to fade out. Alright, so going back here, we're going to do fade in function, and then over here we're going to do fade out function. Okay, and it's giving me a goofy looking error, so I assume that we must have not defined the, oh, okay, yeah, sorry, I forgot one big important thing. So you're gonna do local fade in function, comma, fade out function. We gotta define these variables. I forgot, my bad. Update animation function, and then is equal to util create fade functions, and then add in fade parameters. Okay, so there you have it, and then back here we defined it. So now we gotta create the last update. We have to do animation, so update animation. Alright, okay, and then update anim function. Alright, okay, so now we're not just done yet. We have defined the return for this local function create message label. So we have defined everything that you need to do in order to create a console message. Okay, now before we just finish off, we have to return very important things. So we have to return, instead of returning like before in module scripts, you'll return a function or something like that. We're going to return something else. We're going to return a set of things. So let's return, okay, let's copy this because it's super long. So util, okay, key, and then we're going to do message type. So message type, and then we're going to do chat constants dot message type tips. Okay, and then the other thing that we're going to return is the key creator. So creator, and then function. Okay, and then we're going to return create message label. So what this does is it returns as the key creator function create message label. Okay, so create message label is the function that we already defined, and then chat constants message type tips. So what this is saying is that if the chat constant or the message is of type tips, then you are going to use create message label. You're going to use this module. So if we run this actually right now, it should work out. So let's do play. And as you can see, nothing is happening, and we got to figure out what the el problemo is. Okay, so all right, so sorry about that, guys. We misspelled a bunch of crap. So right here, there's an error running the module script, chat modules. So it's going to be under chat modules, and then it's called module script, and I don't know why we didn't change that name, but let's just change that to creator tips. All right, so then we go into here. Okay, now it's saying that our register filter function is misspelled, so obviously right here this was misspelled. Let's try it again. I'm sure most of you guys caught that. Oh, okay, we getting more stuff. Okay, so create fade function is a nil value. So we just called something that has a nil value, and I think that's because we forgot to put an S. Okay, so whoops. All right, let's try it again. All right, so this should work out. All right, so there you have it. Sorry guys, I know I misspell a lot, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So again, all this stuff is all the stuff that you're going to want to edit is all in here. You're going to want to change the tips, and then the message time. So again, if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe, comment what you think, and like it. The free module for if you don't even want to do anything is going to be in the description. And yeah, so yeah. All right, have a nice day. Hope to see you soon.